to the alcohol consumption, regarding the awareness of that. They have the DOH and the Department of Health here in the Philippines have the initiative to push for higher taxes in alcohol products. They also have the initiative to push laws for controlling the advertisements in TV, in specifically because we know that big corporations have a relationship with, it's pretty rampant in our TV advertisements. What is your thoughts on this? Basic, since you are, you know, alcohol company organizations. Are you supporting this initiative?
So I think on the tax question, obviously, in many ways it sounds like a good solution because you raise revenues, you discourage people from drinking. But I think a couple of things to note there, which is that what we should be aiming for really should be the harmful, like reducing the harmful use of alcohol, not so much alcohol consumption per se, because you might have alcohol consumption of the population decreasing as a whole, but if your harmful alcohol consumption is increasing, then actually you're not really going the right way. When it comes to taxes, I think the complicating factor is that when you have a country where there is already an existing market for illicit alcohol, when you increase the taxes, you also increase the differential between tax paid as well as your illicit products, and you therefore incentivize both your consumers and your producers to actually turn to your illicit alternatives. So while it might seem that, if it really was a strictly causal relationship, I think that could be a solution, but the reality is that actually when you have tax increases, you end up pushing a lot of consumers to consume illicit goods, which are not, first of all, means like you have revenue loss for your government, but it also means that your consumers are potentially consuming, counterfeit alcohol, basically alcohol that might be hazardous to their health. Mm-hmm. So it's quite a multifaceted problem, and I think increasing taxes is not as straightforward a solution that people think it is. Mm-hmm. On the question of advertising, I think that's absolutely a very important question to have. I think when it comes to alcohol, I think all of us as producers as well as retailers, it really isn't on us. I think to take the time to really make sure that our advertising is basically compliant, I think, with international standards and best practices. And I think we all follow the International Alliance for Responsible Drinking, and they have set out ways to make sure that, for instance, it doesn't target minors, it doesn't encourage or misinform consumers, it doesn't encourage binge drinking, it doesn't associate alcohol consumption with success in whatever field. So I think there are very strict guidelines that have already been developed by the industry, and I think that helps to make sure that when we do advertise, we advertise in a way that's quite responsible. So while obviously government regulations can be useful in that, I think there's already an existing wealth of information and guidelines from the industry to already guide that practice.
Mm. Just to, I would like to highlight your point that increasing the tax is not the straightforward answer. Since it's multifaceted as what you've mentioned, because it could lead to some consumers on consuming alternative that is not advisable for health. Am I correct for that? So what is your recommended because what is the push right now is to a push for responsible market retailing, right? What are the other like it will encompass the whole nation, to make sure that we can target young consumers to not consume alcohol products? Do you have alternative solutions for that instead of raising taxes?
Yeah, maybe I can take this. So, Philippines is one of the very few countries that this tax is raised and earmarked for the health promotion activities. So it's obvious that the tax raise is for reducing the harmful use of alcohol. We support that. And our approach is that we think to address the harmful use of alcohol, that we need to have a targeted approach, and only the whole of society approach can really address the real issue. That's why we are behind the passport. we're helping them develop the training module, because I think to reach the objective to have the responsible retailing, the key is to help the frontline retailers with necessary skills and knowledge when they come from, for example, some unpolite customers. Somebody forgot to bring their ID card. We are helping them how to communicate with them in a very respectful way. So this kind of practical thing can only be supplemented by the industry, by passport, all of these associations. So we are standing behind the government for this whole of society approach to be implemented.
Just to add to that, I think when it comes to anything where a lot of it has to do with changing the culture, so changing the culture around underage drinking, it's not something that happens overnight. I think obviously having passport involved and having as many retailers involved in essentially preventing access and consumption of alcohol by minors is super important. But ultimately, it also requires years of having that conversation in the community about basically underage drinking being bad for the community. And that's the I think the long term goal I think of the coalition in general of our industry.
Yeah, I think the beauty of this training is that maybe you heard during the ceremony that the retailers they read the law and they are more clear than a lot of Filipinos that they know what the standard drink means. And I think that the training is not only to help them to adhere to the laws and regulation. I think that the main point to raise awareness that they are playing a very critical role in a society, that to promote this kind of a responsible drinking culture in the community, because the clients are their neighbor. PASCO is a community-based organization. They have 7,000 membership across all the countries.
I would like to point. Sorry, I have a lot of questions. I would like to point at the responsible drinking culture. It's because here in the Philippines, our families are very close ties, right? And if children are seeing the adults drinking alcohols, so although there is a restrictions, right? So there could still be a form of enticement if you see your adults. So can you define us what is the responsible drinking?
So responsible
Responsible drinking culture,
for
rather.
example, when you buy an alcohol product, we have already put some warning message on that. There are 3 main logos that no sales to the minors and no drink driving, and if you are pregnant, don't drink alcohol. So this is a very obvious three strong message we're delivering to the society. And also we are also implementing kind of campaign, for example, targeting the young people that no drink driving through our Power of No campaign. Now we have already finished 3 phases. Now we are moving forward to phase 4. So the local association, they will take ownership to amplify the impact of this campaign. Like the training we are conducting now, this is another pillar. So we are doing a lot of efforts to help the society to raise the awareness of responsible consumption of alcohol.
Just to add to that, I think Juan summed it up, but just to add, I think there's a very important component of moderation for those who actually do drink, because you can have and I think Philippines has a national drinking guideline as well, which is very helpful to help you define what is excessive and what is. So I think it's a question also of raising awareness of what it is, what should be the limits depending on age, gender, etc.
Sorry,
Thank you.
follow-up.
We have a question from Mr. Richard Ebonne.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. And so nowadays, drinking alcohol, especially to the minors, are very rampant. So I'd like to ask this question to Iswa. So is there any records or updated records or percentage, especially those young adults or minors are now suffering illness that lead to death?
Excessive drinking from
Specific
minors.
Yes, that's
minors.
those minors.
So I think you're talking about alcohol-related morbidity or injuries for youth in the
Yes,
Philippines. I don't know we have data that specific. I know so every year I think like every couple of years there's a global burden of disease study, and they look at a couple of different components. You have like underage drinking, you have alcohol-related mobility, drink driving, etc. But I don't think they have one specifically for youth-only alcohol injuries. But we know, for instance, that I think not just in the Philippines but generally in the region, we have a lot of problems relating to drink driving, but especially among the youth, like aged 29, and that's why we target a lot of our interventions there. But yeah, sorry, on that specific data point, we don't have it, at least not to my knowledge.
Okay, thank you. So for Pasco, so what advice do you give to the parents, especially guiding their children, the minors one who are excessive drinking alcohol? So is there any initiatives?
Maybe as part of the Pasco community, we could also share the education we had based on our training from ABAPI about the responsible micro retailing, yung pag-inom ng mga kabataan. Kasi, as I said before in the panel, our stores is nagiging,
Tambayan.
Yeah.
Yes.
Doon talaga lagi. So, basically, lahat ng nasa community, magkakakilala. So, we can, by just simply na pagbili, uy, alam mo ba, Mare, ganito, ganyan. Ay, hindi kasi lahat ng alcohol, pare-pareho ng alcohol level, di ba?
Yes.
May iba-iba, may percentage yan eh. But, it doesn't mean na, como ito, ganito, nakakalasing na. Meron siyang certain percentage, so nakakalasing yan pag madami ka nang nainom. Kasi katulad kunyari sa wine, di ba kaya nga kopita lang ang inom? Kasi mas matindi ang tama. Whereas sa beer, malaking bote. Kasi kahit maubos mo yan, hindi ganun ka ang kanyang alcohol content, di ba? So by the volume talaga ang dito. So in moderation dapat. O yung mga, kasi kahit hindi youth, kahit hindi minors, kahit yung mga adult, dapat hindi natin na lahat ng sobra bawal. So hindi lang dahil kumikita kami, pwede namin yung i-share o napag-aralan namin, alam mo ba, na pag ganito, may kulong ka, pag nahulihan ka na So, kailangan i-share, maging aware lang. Yun naman ay awareness lang din. Kasi, nasanay po kasi tayo na tuwing may okasyon,
Drink to.
yan, nakaagad ang hinahanda. Aminin. Dadating si maghanda ka ng ganito, pulutan ang kasunod niyan. Ganyan. So, siguro yung kultura natin, medyo oo, kasi na talaga pero yung tanong kanina kung meron na balitaan na nagkasakit dahil sa pag-inom, parang wala akong nakabataan na nagkasakit dahil sa alak. Kasi naman yung mga parents din naman, aware din sila. Siyempre, sino bang magulang ang gusto mapariwara yung anak, di ba? So kaming magulang, kasi magulang din ako. So nakikita ko pa lang, minsan kasi yung ibang tatay naman, tinuturuan yung mga anak din. Di ba? Kaya kailangan yung mga tatay din ng turuan ganyan. Ang pa nga natin sa Pilipinas, because in the Philippines, 18 pwede na, di ba? Sa ibang bansa, lalo in Korea, 21.
Yeah.
International age, 21. Pero, Korean age. Pero sa international age nila, 20, bago pa sila makainom. O di pwede natin gawin, anak, mag-aral ka mabuti ha. When you reach 18, pwede ka nang uminom, bibilang kita. Paano bang wag natin, pagka sinabi mo kasi wag kang iinom, ayaw ng bata ng ganun lalo silang iinom, bakit pinagbabawal? Pero i-reverse psychology natin. Anak, bigyan mo ako ng grade pagdating mo na may ka, may reward ka, isang case na Red Horse.
Thanks, Nanay Victoria. For our last question, since I believe you guys have to Andrea and then Miss Janet. Yes, Andrea.
My question
Last two
is
questions.
for